reasons the leadership of the church selected the title A Time to Promise, and why the word promise is so important this time instead of A Time to Grow. A Time to Grow was the catalyst that had moved us in a new direction in ministry. A Time of Promise is helping us to remember whose we are, and that is, we are God's people, and that we have promised to fulfill His mission and ministry. And that involves commitment, and that involves growth in our faith with Him and putting Him first. Started in this process of dreaming together about 7 years ago as a session and as the leadership of the church. We gathered for a retreat at Christ the King Retreat Center, and we were able to, about 26 of us, brainstorm all the things that we wanted to see happen at the church. And so our Time to Grow was not only about building this new facility, but also about beginning to move forward in ministry as a church. And so we dreamed about adding additional staff for Christian ed and youth work, about being more consistent in prayer together, about trying to fulfill the mission, Christ's mission here in North Syracuse. And as our conversations continued, we created a dream team, and that dream team met for a couple of years and spent time trying to put into place all of these ideas and dreams and wishes that we all had. And so we took that, the recommendations from the dream team, and out of that came A Time to Grow. And so
if you look carefully at this very original sculpture, you'll never find it anywhere else. It is original. Go to the back of the line of these two groups of human beings. You will find the more reluctant people headed for the cross of Christ are in the back. You will also see, as you get toward the front of the line, there's much more excitement and anticipation and probably confidence. Both groups are completely different from each other, yet the theme is the same. And we'll get an idea of the young, the old, the scared, the optimists that are headed on this journey toward the cross. After the sanctuary ground was broken in fall of '66, it was dedicated in February 1968 with the empty wall, because the two gentlemen had already died, and we'd already commissioned the sculptor to come up with this idea. The pastor, the founding pastor, Reverend Lindsay, left in August of '68. The sculpture completed on the wall was the last thing in this sanctuary to be filled, and that happened probably late '68 or early '69. Reverend Lindsay had left the summer before, and Reverend Thornburg came in the spring of '69, and it has been here since then.
We meet twice a month on the second and the fourth Tuesday of each month, and we meet at 7 o'clock. And we originally said we were going to meet from 7 to 8, but the way it goes is if you really want to leave at 8, you can get up and leave at 8, but most of us stay there till at least 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock. It just depends on the experience and who's there, how many are there. When there's a lot there, it'll go up to 9 o'clock easily. And because the atmosphere is just really special there. We have Gloria, who brings the music, and she plays spiritual music in the background. And we open with a devotion, or we'll share a prayer or something that maybe came in the mail with the shawls. Special prayers come in them sometimes, and someone will share that. And it's kind of, we start out with that, and then we get the music going, and then it's just open talk, relaxing atmosphere. It's very quiet in there, but there's also laughter at the same time. And it's just really relieving. To half the time I don't even pay attention to my crocheting sometimes, and I'll have to pull half of it out because we get to talking and laughing. So it's a really good experience. And the anchor people are Gloria and Kate. I mean, Kate makes tons of phone calls and keeps us together and reminds us, and she's kind of like the thread that weaves us together, and Gloria is the one that brought it here. It was her plan, and she brought us something that's really mushroomed into a lot. It's a really good experience to just sit there and forget about everything outside that room. You just go in there, and the music's playing, the prayers are read, the devotion's read, and you almost forget about everything out there, because we just talk about whatever someone brings up, or laugh about whatever someone's doing silly.
We notice a big difference in being able to have a workspace that's conducive to staff discussion and working cooperatively together with volunteers. So having the new administrative space has been remarkably helpful. Also, we are warmer. The conditions for carrying out our work have improved greatly because the building is more efficient. Our new entrance for the nursery school has made that space warmer and more energy efficient. I think that we have started some new ministries since that time. We have the parents' time out, which we are doing. We're doing more work with the Samaritan Center. We have a kitchen that's conducive to preparing those meals for the first time, that allows more than 2 or 3 people to be in the space at a time. We are able to have the silent auction now, and have raised in the last 2 years close to $8,000 for mission, which has helped with the Samaritan Center, the food pantry, with the Ronald McDonald House, some other areas of mission that we have not been able to do in the past because we have the space to do that. We've continued with our lamp ministry and have been able to do that sort of thing as well. Our nursery school has been able to continue, and we are grateful for that. Our Sunday school space is more conducive. We have a small group room for having groups meet during the week to grow in their faith. Scripture mandates that we are to put God first in our life. One lesson in particular is that time when the Pharisees come to Jesus. They're trying to trick him, and they ask him, who should we serve first, God or the emperor? And Jesus is very smart. He answers that question in such a way that he helps us to know what is to be our priority. You see, if he answered the question and said that we are to pay taxes, the Jewish people at the time would have felt that he was not being loyal to God. If he had answered the question and said, give only to God, then the Roman Empire would have been upset with him for serving only God and not giving what belongs to the government, not being a good citizen. Jesus rather says, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God. And that's our mandate, that's our challenge, to give to God what is God's. And that is really the thrust of this campaign for us this time of promise. For us to renew in our spirits that sense that God is primary in our lives and that we want to put him at the front of everything that we do. The rest of our lives will fall into place if we place God first. For you see, God blesses us uniquely, and our hearts become open to what God's blessings are when we make room for him. It opens up all sorts of possibilities for us to recognize and see the many blessings that he has given each and every one of us. And so, as we continue our prayer each day of the campaign, what is God's will in my life for this time of promise at Northminster Church? My prayer and my hope is that our hearts will be opened wide and we will know that it is God that is at the center of everything that we do. And God will